Every mechanic has a list. It's not written down anywhere. Nobody really talks much about it. But the moment certain trucks pull into the lot, you feel it. That quiet dread when you see the grill come through the door and you already know what the next 3 hours looks like. Today, I'm giving you that list. These are not obscure trucks. They're not rare mistakes. They're America's 5 best-selling, most popular, most advertised trucks on the road right now. The ones you see at every dealership, every job site, every bar and grill parking lot in the country. And they are keeping mechanics busy in ways that should scare every single person who owns one. I'm going to tell you exactly what goes wrong, why it goes wrong, and what it costs when it does. Not from a review, not from a website, but from the folks charged with getting these things roadworthy again. Let's get into it.
Number 5, and this one surprises people because it looks so simple. The Chevy Colorado and GMC Canyon with the 2.5-liter 4-cylinder. One of the most popular mid-sized trucks in America. Affordable, fuel efficient, easy to drive, easy to park. Here's what mechanics know that buyers don't. The water pump on this engine is internal. It's driven by the timing chain. Inside the engine when it fails, and it fails. Coolant gets into places coolant should never be. You're not replacing a water pump at this point. You're doing an engine teardown. The timing chain itself is another story. On higher mileage examples, 80 to 100,000 miles, timing chain stretch is showing up consistently. The symptoms start subtle. A rattle on cold start, slightly rough idle, then it gets worse. By the time most owners bring it in, the job has grown from a timing chain replacement into a timing chain plus water pump plus whatever coolant contamination caused along the way. A $300 water pump becomes a $3,500 repair because of where GM decided to put it. Independent shops charge extra labor just to access the basic components of this engine. The design makes routine work complicated. Complicated work becomes expensive work. And expensive work on a mid-sized truck that was supposed to be the affordable option is a bad surprise nobody saw coming at the dealership. Here's the verdict from the mechanics bay. Great truck until it isn't. When it goes wrong, it goes expensively wrong. Know what you're buying. All right, moving on to number 4. And I want to be clear here. The Ram 1500 on coil springs, let me repeat that, on coil springs is one of the best riding trucks in America. That's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about the air suspension models. The moment a Ram 1500 Limited with air suspension pulls into a bay, the mechanic doing the intake already knows 3 things. 1, it probably came in low on one corner. 2, the compressor has been running constantly trying to compensate. And 3, this won't be a single strut replacement. Air struts, they don't fail alone. The system is interconnected. When one corner goes, the compressor works overtime, trying to keep the other 3 corners level. That accelerates wear across the entire system. By the time the owner notices something is wrong, the compressor is already compromised. Replacement air strut assemblies run $800 to $1,200 per corner. The compressor adds another $600 to $900. On a truck that comes in for one corner, you can easily leave spending $3,000 to $5,000 because by the time you're in there, the honest answer is you're replacing the whole system. Mechanics certainly don't hate the Ram. They hate delivering that estimate to someone who paid $75,000 for a truck and had no idea this was coming. So here's the verdict from the mechanics bay. The coil spring Ram is a great truck. The air spring Ram is a great truck with an expensive clock ticking underneath it. Okay, coming in at number 3, and this one genuinely hurts to say. For 20 years, the Toyota Tundra was the truck mechanics recommended without hesitation. The 5.7-liter V8, simple, overbuilt, documented past 300,000 miles on basic maintenance. If a customer asked what to buy, mechanics told them Tundra without thinking twice. Then Toyota redesigned it. The new 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6, and the reports started coming in. Spun rod bearings under 30,000 miles on trucks with perfect service records and no abuse history. The kind of failure you expect on a neglected engine at 150,000 miles, showing up on trucks that are practically brand new. Now here's what makes mechanics dread this job specifically. To do a proper bottom-end repair on this engine the right way, you pull the cab off the frame. This is not a Tuesday afternoon job. This is a multi-day teardown with specialized equipment and a labor bill that starts at $4,000 before you buy a single part. Total repair on a spun bearing Tundra, done correctly, lands between $10,000 and $15,000 on a truck that might have 28,000 miles on it. That phone call to the customer is the worst part. Telling someone their brand new Tundra, the truck they bought specifically because of Toyota's reputation, needs a 5-figure repair is a conversation nobody in this business enjoys having. Toyota broke the most trusted name in trucks, and mechanics are the ones delivering that news every single day. The verdict from the Bay: the old Tundra, buy that thing all day. The new Tundra, wait for Toyota to fix what they broke, and then wait a little longer.
I want to stop here for a second. Everything on this list so far, the Colorado, the Ram, the new Tundra, those are trucks with specific fixable problems. Bad design decisions, components that wear out, things that can be addressed. The last two trucks on this list are different. The last two have problems that are fundamental to the engine itself, not a component failure, not a design oversight. The engine, the heart of the truck, is the problem. And both of them are sitting on dealers' lots right now, brand new, being sold to people who have no damn idea. Number two and number one, pay attention.
All right, now, number two, the Ford F-150, the best-selling vehicle in America for over 40 years, which means when the engine has problems, a lot of people feel it. The 3.5-liter EcoBoost twin-turbo, Ford's flagship engine, the one they put in everything, the one they advertise constantly. Here's what the ads don't mention. Direct injection means no fuel washing the intake valves. Carbon buildup on every EcoBoost, every single one. It's not a defect, it's how the technology works. But eventually, that carbon buildup causes rough idle, misfires, and power loss. The fix is walnut blasting the intake, a specialized shop process that runs $400 to $700, and it needs to be done every 50 to 80,000 miles, forever. That's a maintenance item Ford doesn't put in their owner's manual. Timing chain wear. On higher mileage trucks, the timing chain stretch on the 3.5-liter EcoBoost is a documented pattern. The symptoms start with the rattle on cold start. Left unaddressed, it becomes a timing chain replacement, $3,500 to $5,000 at a dealer. And the turbos, two of them, running hot under sustained load. The seals wear over time. Oil gets into the intake. The turbo that was boosting your horsepower is now burning oil and sending contaminating air into your combustion chamber. The deeper problem is complexity. The EcoBoost is a sophisticated piece of engineering. When something goes wrong, diagnosing it takes time, and time at a dealer or specialty shop is billed at $150 to $200 an hour. Independent shops often send these trucks to the dealer because the diagnostic software requirements are that specific. Ford sells more F-150s than anyone sells anything, which means there are more EcoBoost engines in American driveways than any other engine on this list. And mechanics across the country are seeing the same patterns on all of them. So, the verdict from the Bay. Want an F-150 that mechanics don't dread? Get the 5.0 Coyote V8. Naturally aspirated, no turbos, no carbon trap. Every shop in the country knows it cold. Number 1, and before we get into this, I want you to understand something. The GM 6.2-liter V8 is a great engine when it runs. Smooth, powerful. It makes these trucks feel like what they cost. Drive one. You understand why people buy them. But in the shop, you don't see them when they're running great. You see them when they're not. Active fuel management. GM cylinder deactivation system. On highway cruising, the engine shuts down 4 of its 8 cylinders to save fuel. To do that, it uses collapsing hydraulic lifters. Those lifters cycle constantly. Active, deactive, active, deactive, every time you get on and off the highway. They wear, they fail, and when they fail, it's not a quiet failure. A collapsed lifter drops a push rod. A dropped push rod can punch right through a valve cover. Metal debris enters the oil system. Now that debris is circulating through every oil passage in that engine, hitting bearings, scoring journals, contaminating everything downstream. Main bearing failures. Owners with 50,000, 60, 70,000 miles. Trucks that anyone would call young. Hearing that deep knock, that means the crank is cutting into the bearing material. And that knock, well, that's the sound of thousands of dollars happening in real time. GM's factory replacement, 6.2-liter crate engine, $8,500 in parts. Dealer labor to pull and replace a truck engine, $3,500 to $5,000. You're writing a check for $12,000 to $14,000 on a truck that might be 5 years old, on a truck that might still have payments on it. That moment, handing someone a $12,000 estimate on a truck they're still paying for, is the hardest part of that job. Not the work, the conversation. The Sierra Denali starts at $65,000. The Silverado High Country is right behind it. These are aspirational purchases. People saved for these trucks. They're proud of them. And GM has been putting this engine in them, knowing the failure pattern for years. So, the verdict from the Mechanics Bay. The 5.3-liter Silverado, solid truck. Buy it. The 6.2-liter, walk away. That badge isn't worth that bill.
Here's the thing about all 5 of these trucks. They're popular for a reason. Ford, GM, Ram, Toyota, these companies know how to build something that feels good to drive, looks good in the driveway, and sells. The marketing works. The showroom experience works. The test drive works. What doesn't work is the part that comes after. The water pump buried in an engine. The airbag that takes the whole system with it when it goes. The twin turbo engine in a truck that was supposed to be bulletproof. The turbocharger carboning up an American bestseller. And the engine that sounds like a luxury purchase, right up until it doesn't. I'm not here to tell you not to buy these trucks. I'm here to tell you what mechanics know before you hand over the keys. Go in with your eyes open. Budget for the repairs that are coming. Ask the right questions at the dealership. Get a pre-purchase inspection from an independent shop, not the dealer, before you sign anything. And if anyone tries to tell you that extended warranty is optional on a 6.2-liter Silverado, it's not. Drop a comment. Tell me which truck you're driving and whether you've seen any of this firsthand. The comments on this channel are some of the best in the truck space, and I read every single damn one of them. If you want to know which trucks mechanics actually buy with their own money, that video is linked right up there. Watch it next and then hit the subscribe button. The SUV version of this list is coming. And trust me, that one is going to make this one look pretty damn mild. I'll see you at the next exit.